You open your phone for 30 seconds. In that time, you scroll past a European vacation, a friend's new car, and a stranger's pristine kitchen renovation. You turn off the screen, look around, and somehow your own apartment looks a little smaller and dingier than it did 5 minutes ago. Nothing about your actual life changed in those 30 seconds. The only thing that shifted was your internal reference point. Psychologists call this social comparison theory. As humans, we don't evaluate whether what we have is good or enough in a vacuum. We evaluate our lives relative to the people around us. Because our baseline for normal is completely relative, the information we allow into our daily feed quietly dictates our baseline level of satisfaction. The problem is, a social feed isn't a representative sample of human existence. Nobody posts the Tuesday they ate cereal for dinner and folded laundry. People curate a highlight reel, filtering out the mundane to broadcast only their best 5%. Your brain isn't wired to automatically correct for that curation. When you see those peak moments stacked back to back all day, it starts recalibrating what an ordinary life looks like. You start feeling behind a standard that never existed in the first place. For most of human history, your reference group was naturally capped by geography. You compared yourself to a few hundred people in your neighborhood or workplace. Today, your digital neighborhood is vastly different. That new group is filled with influencers, minor celebrities, and the most financially comfortable fraction of your peers. Yet, because they are constantly in your feed, your brain registers them as your literal neighbors. We are suddenly playing a social game where the average person we measure ourselves against isn't average at all. They are a heavily filtered, statistically rare anomaly. Once your reference point warps, your spending starts doing a job it was never meant to do, closing the perceived gap between your actual life and everyone else's digital highlight reel. Economists call this status signaling. This usually doesn't look like a conscious decision to show off. It shows up as a quiet, slightly stronger pull toward upgrading a perfectly good phone or couch, right after seeing someone else's pristine new version. Nobody thinks, "I am buying this to compete." It's simply an ambient dissatisfaction with the perfectly functional things you already own. And here is what makes it a closed loop. The moment you linger on aspirational content, like a luxury travel page, the algorithm logs that interest and feeds you more of it, actively pushing your reference point even higher. You aren't just passively exposed to these triggers. The system is explicitly engineered to move your baseline upward indefinitely, with no natural ceiling, because that tension is exactly what keeps you scrolling. This sense of falling behind is the intended result of an environment specifically built to produce that exact feeling. You are navigating a system precisely tuned to keep your reference point in a state of constant upward motion. You can't fully opt out of social comparison. It is hardwired into our biology. But you have total control over the inputs you feed that system. You can start fixing this with a simple 2-minute audit. Scroll through your feed and pay attention to how your body reacts. Notice which accounts consistently make you feel behind and which ones feel neutral or genuinely useful. Take the first group and unfollow or mute them. Do it without any guilt. You are simply cleaning up your environment to find a calmer, neutral space. Next time, we're going to dig even deeper into where our money beliefs come from, looking at the scripts we picked up in childhood before we could even question them. Until then, tell me in the comments, when was the last time you caught yourself comparing your life to a stranger's highlight reel? Intentionally shaping your digital space allows you to reclaim the authority to define what the word enough looks like. It ensures that the people setting your financial baseline are the ones you actually know, rather than a collection of strangers filtered through an algorithm.